Hi, and welcome to Mature Matters. My name is Debbie Clark, and I'll be your host for today. Hopefully you are in a very cool place in your home today. It is in the 90s, can you believe it? And it's fall. We have a very special guest with us today. Her name is Carolyn Eskandari. She is a retired nurse from years back. She has done many things that, from what I understand, what we've been talking about. Welcome to our show. Thank you so much for coming on a day like today to talk to us.
Okay.
First off, can you give us a little bit of your background?
Briefly, I'm an RN. I worked in special care. They called it special care at that time. It's intensive care at Ford Hospital. And after I retired to raise the children, I wanted to do some volunteer work, and I was approached by people here at the center, and they asked if I would be interested in working with a stroke group. I don't know how you perceive stroke, but many people are afraid that it's catching, and they're afraid of it. So it was very hard for them to find volunteers, and I said that would be great. Well, the first group was fine, and it worked out well for a couple years, and then they became very involved in parliamentary procedure, and they didn't discuss stroke. So they asked me if I would start another group that would deal exclusively with stroke and the issues that people encounter. I said yes, and the rest of is history.
Wonderful. Is that when it was named the first Step Stroke Group?
I chose that because it was the first step in people's recovery. It's very hard after you've had physical therapy. You go home, you've had your stroke. You go home and you have your some therapy, and then you sit in your house and you say, now what? And I thought it was so important to have a group that we could open for people, and they could move on from that place and realize that there is life after stroke. But they had to take that first step, and that's very difficult to come into a group and just open up your life, because basically you have to expose all of the things that have happened to you, and it's a life-changing event for people.
Right. You know what, it kind of reminds me of other support groups. You have to come to that conclusion,
right, that
you have had this occurrence and that you want to go forward from it.
And you want to move on.
Yes.
I would add that I feel very strongly about this, and I want to stress this. We also have a caregiver support group, because stroke doesn't just involve the person who is a survivor. We don't use the word victim, never use that word. They're a survivor. But the caregiver, and they may be a spouse, they may be a child. We've had children of stroke survivors in the past. They need some place where they can come and learn some of the skills that they need, because their lives have changed as well. And I think it's terribly important to have this caregiver support. We've seen many people move on and gain a lot of help from the group. So,
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, you had mentioned about the caregivers.
Yes.
Who can come to the group? I mean,
anyone.
Anyone. Okay.
Anyone can come to the group. You can come from any community. Hospitals sometimes have them at night, and we decided to do it during the day. One, because it was easier. The center was open, and secondly, it's much easier for people to get out during the day than in the evening, and especially in winter. It's from 1 to 3, and Barbara will tell you more about that part of it. But as I said, I can't stress enough. Oh, another thing that we do is go out to lunch.
Nice.
Yes, and it isn't just that we want people to go out to lunch. It's so that people can have that camaraderie that they may not have at the stroke group.
Right.
Where they are here talking about stroke or exercising or doing something like that. They're just among friends, and they feel comfortable, and it gives them confidence.
That's awesome, and that they're not alone.
Exactly.
Yes. What if they needed transportation?
Transportation, if you're in Farmington Hills,
yes,
we'll provide it.
That's so cool. That's
yes.
why I brought that up.
Yeah, yeah. They will provide it, and The other thing is, following a stroke, as I said, life is not over. Many times you can go and take a driving course if you have the okay of your physician. And we have 3 or 4 people in our group who have done that, and they now drive themselves.
Wonderful. That's great. Is there anything else that you can think of as far as the support group? Maybe a little bit more detail. Like, do you ever have speakers that come in?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to step on Barbara's toes because she's going to be talking a little bit about that as well. Yeah, we have speakers who come. We have exercises. We play mind games. We play word games. And the most important thing is when we have new people come in, they tell us about themselves. And it's amazing to watch them. They start out with just a few words, and then they get involved, and they see all this warmth around them and people saying, hey, I had that too. I know how you feel. I had aphasia. I couldn't speak 4 years ago, and now look at me. And it's just an amazing transformation that you see. I can honestly say that over all the 35 years I've done this, I have never seen anyone who regressed or who did not progress. And that's very important.
It is.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful. Well, my stepmom had a stroke, just on a personal level.
Okay.
And my father has been her caregiver for 12 years. And I personally have seen the challenges that families can go through when this happens to you personally. And just to have the support group and the, like you said, the love, the comfort, you're not alone. I wish that my parents would have or would, because I live in Farmington Hills, take advantage of it.
Oh, so they might want to do that.
I would love for them to.
That's it. The first step is so hard. Taking
Yes.
that first step. But we had a gentleman who came in today for the first time, and he was very reluctant. It was the most beautiful thing to see. He had very little to say. His wife spoke mostly about what had happened and what they had been through. And at the end of the meeting, we had 2 gentlemen and another woman go over and start speaking to him. And they found out they had something in common, that he had run track, and all of them had. And we're watching this great conversation take place. And that was the first time that he got a chance to really express himself about something. So I would encourage your parents to come. We'd love to have them.
Well, thank you. So tell me the day, the time, and where it's held.
Okay. It's on Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, 1 to 3. The first Tuesday of the month, we go out to lunch. We have different restaurants that the group chooses, and everyone goes individually.
Nice.
The third Tuesday of the month, you still have the meeting, but we have a caregivers in a separate room.
Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
And what else did you want to know? Oh, where it is. It's here.
Yes.
It's held here.
If they come to the front entrance, the
Yes,
information
they'll be
desk can
directed.
point them. It's like in a classroom here as well?
Yes.
Okay.
And we have one particular room we meet in, but I don't want to say that because sometimes they change it around on us. So,
Sure.
So just so, but if you come to the front or if you call, you can call Barbara. We have a brochure, and
Nice.
she can give you any information. I'd be happy to give information as well.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you think that would be beneficial for any of the people that are watching that may be interested? We've gone over time and day and what it consists of, and that you do have field trips, if you will, out to the restaurant and things like that. Is there anything else that you want to share?
No, I'd just like to say that a stroke is not the end of your life. It's like anything else. There are challenges we meet, and as you get older, sometimes things happen. It isn't just stroke, but a stroke can manifest itself in so many different ways, and we can help you deal with that. I suppose that's the most important thing. All
That's
of us
awesome.
can, because we have people who have been there, and we have medical people who can answer your questions. And you won't find a warmer, nicer place in the whole part of Farmington Hills.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
Carolyn, thank you for everything that you've done over
Thank you
the
so
last
much.
yes, over the last 30 years. Where would it be basically if it hadn't started from you.
Well, that's very nice of you, but I
Yeah.
think I would really, now I'm going to encourage you to encourage your parents to come and join us. We'd love to have them.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you for your time. At this time, we're going to take a short break. We shall return. Don't go away. Hello, we're back. I hope that you stayed just where you were. We have another guest here who has been very active in this First Step Stroke group as well. Her name is Barbara Montgomery. Thank you so much for joining us, Barbara.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Dr. Barbara Montgomery, and I am the now group coordinator of the First Step Stroke Survivor Group. I've been with them as a coordinator for 7.5 years. I'm a retired social worker. I have an extensive background in religion, where I'm kind of all over the place with religion.
Nice.
And I love doing what I do with the First Step Stroke Group.
What brought you to the
Well, my
stroke
son
group?
had a stroke in 2008, and I was looking for a place, to take him for just support for both of us. And I was going to another place, which was a little far, and wasn't getting what I wanted out of that group. So I started checking some more, and I found Farmington Hills Caustic Center.
Nice.
And so this is how we ended up here, was through him having a stroke.
Yes, and if you don't mind me asking, how old was your son at the time?
At the time we had the stroke, he was 47.
Wow. Wow. That's so young.
Right.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about the what you do when a person comes. If I had a stroke or my loved one had a stroke and I was bringing them, what can I expect when I walk through the doors?
The first
when I
thing you
come?
can expect is love. Respect is love. We give a lot of love. We invite them in. We welcome them, and try to make them feel as best that we possibly can. And then we try to find out a little bit about them, when their stroke was, what type of stroke, and try to give them some information that maybe some of the other stroke survivors have to share with them. And just make them feel welcome and encourage them to come back.
That's awesome. When a person does come in and they're introduced, can their extended family come? Can friends come? Can anyone join the group?
Well, I think their friends can come, their family can come, because most of their caregivers are family members.
Yes.
Husband, wife, it could be a sister, brother, and like myself, my son. But I think that anyone would be welcome to the group.
That's wonderful. Say the family member couldn't bring them, could a friend bring them? I guess that's what I was getting at. Tell me what you do when you have your meetings.
Well, every first Tuesday, we go out to lunch. We take a vote on which restaurant we might want to go to, and that's what we do every first Tuesday. We have a lot of fun going out to lunch. We also play games. We play different types of games. We have speakers come in, such as doctors, lawyers. We've had Veterans Administration, Social Security. We've had CVS Pharmacy. Persons from the assisted living, nursing homes, and et cetera. It kind of goes on, because you can imagine over the last 7.5 years I've been there, how many people we've had in.
Exactly. Name a few restaurants that you go to.
Well, we are going to Peter Lynn's on 9 Mile in Farmington this Tuesday.
I've
next
heard
Tuesday.
that's a good place to eat.
Yes, and we've been to, let me see, we've been to so many. Ruby Tuesday.
Good salad bar.
Applebee's. We've been to, well, I can't think of all of them right now, but we've been many, many restaurants.
That's great.
We've been to Ramshorn and
How is your son doing?
well, he's made great progress since he's joined this group. I must say that, because when he first came, he had an ischemic stroke of the brain, which left him with short-term memory. And He didn't have much to say and much to do, but now he's really active with the group, which I call it a blessing.
Oh, a huge blessing. Like you said, the love.
Right.
If you walk in and you just, there's a peaceful love feeling there, that's healing in itself.
Right, right.
Is there anything else you can think of, Barbara, that would be beneficial for our listening audience as far as we've gone over the time and what you do, who comes to speak?
I think that we do have a new brochure.
Oh, nice and colorful.
Yes, and it's entitled First Step Stroke Club for stroke survivors and the caregivers. And we have all the information inside. And so this is one of the things that we like to pass along, not just in the Costic Center, but some of them's taken to church and to doctor's office just to pass along that we are here and what we do.
Absolutely. And I would be happy to pass it along to my place of employment, which is quite a large
Right.
hospital system in the area. So make
Okay.
sure you give me some as well.
Okay. And then another thing, we show movies too from time to time. We have little popcorn movie sessions. And for the last 2 years, we participated in the wellness wellness fair here at the center, which this year it was a huge success.
Was it?
Yes,
Good.
it was. And you know, I just like to think of the stroke group as being, there's a life beyond the stroke. And so, you know, we have to push people to keep moving forward, and do better for
Yes.
themselves.
And keep coming.
Right,
Like you said earlier, it's like an extended family.
Right.
And depression does go
Yes.
along with it on both parts. I've seen it in my parents.
Yes.
With my stepmom, who is my mom. I say that, you know, tongue in cheek because she's a wonderful mother to me.
right,
And then my dad, who gets overwhelmed.
right.
So if you come, then you're going to find out you're not alone.
That's true.
That's the benefit.
Yes,
And like you said, just the love and support. So if you, your family member, your husband, wife, brother, sister, anyone has suffered a stroke, we have a First Step Stroke Group here in Farmington Hills who would love to have you come and be a part. So please consider coming. It's been so nice having you here, Barbara.
It's been
I've
nice
learned a
being
lot
here.
myself. And at this time, I'd like to thank you so much for your time tuning in, and we'll see you next time.